Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Brandon Hill.
What's up? Wow. So 2015 been a pretty crazy year already. Patriots won the Super Bowl. Patriots fans in the house? So the rest of America immediately became experts in the ideal gas law, which goes to show you that we actually can get Americans interested in science. So let's clap that one up. Yeah. We had a royal baby. Got to talk about that because babies are cute, right? The selfie stick is in. It's everywhere. Round of applause for us for that. And what I'm most excited about is that the dad bod has finally made it. I've always known that I'm an early adopter, and so it's just good to know that that finally made its way around. But I'd say one of the biggest things that changed for us in pop culture this year has been a pretty popular topic this week so far. Is as Mad Men went off the air with Mr. Draper here kind of meditating his way on the side of a cliff to one of the more brilliant ads of all time. I gotta tell you, just being honest, wasn't a big Mad Men fan. I know, I'm sorry. Please let me finish. So here's the deal. Wasn't a big Mad Men fan for a lot of reasons, but the big one was Don Draper and these guys, man, they had it easy. Okay, let's talk about their process here for just a second, right? Process is, I went into the office in the morning, I poured myself a drink. Came up with a great campaign, maybe a catchy slogan here or there. And I'm not saying campaigns are easy to come up with, but from there, here's where it gets really easy, right? So we went to media flighting. Media flighting looked like this. We sold to the radio. We sold to 3 television networks. We crossed our fingers and hoped that maybe we could afford a spot around the Lone Ranger, because that would have been awesome, right? Maybe we did some newspaper. Maybe we did some trade publications, maybe even a billboard. But then we sat back, we poured ourselves another drink, and we celebrated because our campaign had the attention of America. And here's why. They had nowhere else to look, right? Remember the president coming on television in the 60s? That's all there was, 3 channels, right? President would ruin your night. Things are a little bit different today, right? Even in the last 10 years, think about how much we've fragmented the media landscape. Let's start by talking about channels. 2005, Netflix was a DVD mailing service. Their top competitor was Blockbuster Video. 10 years later, they're a content producer. They're a network. They've introduced binge watching into the vernacular of America, and I'm pretty sure they slow the global economy every time they release a new season of Orange is the New Black. Just a hunch. All right, let's talk about mobile. 10 years ago, distributing content on a mobile device, practically unheard of, right? It wasn't a place for content. I mean, for God's sake, Candy Crush hadn't been invented yet. I don't know what we did without it. Podcasts, completely unheard of. You'd never heard a thing. There were 2 social networks. One of them is MySpace. If anyone in the room knows how to delete a MySpace page, I will donate a lot of money to No Kid Hungry. And then, of course, there was Facebook. But here we are today, 800 plus social networks with an active user base of over 1 million. Massive fragmentation. But it doesn't stop there. We have device fragmentation. We're talking about first screens. We're talking about second screens. We're talking about third screens. There's way too many screens. Here's the big challenge as a marketer, right? Because I don't have a single view of my customer across all devices, across all touch points, I don't have the ability to know that you're the same person when you're interacting on that phone as you are when you're interacting on your tablet, as you are when you're interacting on your desktop. I don't have a great view of you. That's a real challenge. On top of that, we've got medium fragmentation. New mediums popping up all the time, right? Beacon marketing. So I can walk around a store now, and because I'm close enough to something, it pings my phone and lets me know that there's a deal within range of myself. We've got Apple Pay. Oculus Rift is just around the corner, which has been a pretty geeky pursuit up until now. But what I'm going to tell you is Facebook bought it, and it's a 3D, fully immersive environment. Think about what marketers could do with something like that. 3D audio immersive environment. Think about what a training department could do with something like that. Fragmentation, innovation. Fragmentation, innovation. It's overwhelming. It's hard to keep up with. And if Don Draper had to work for a single day in our landscape, this is where he would have been at the end of episode 1. So despite all of that, it's a booming business. $180 billion spent buying your eyeballs every year. And because we're willing to buy more and more eyeballs, there are more and more people willing to sell it to us, which means I think we're at a really interesting inflection point. I think we're at a spot where we are part of the problem. We are creating an economic marketing bubble because we continue to believe that the solution to our problem is we're going to buy more eyeballs in more places. And that doesn't work every time, right? You guys probably don't always see correlation between those numbers. And even if it did work all the time, this landscape is fragmenting and growing at a rate that your HR budgets, that was a joke, by the way. Just kidding. Your HR budgets, your recruiting budgets, and even your marketing budgets aren't going to be able to afford to pay to be in all these places anymore. We need a new solution. I position that solution is that the new currency of marketing is attention. There's lots of ways to measure attention. It's not easy, and I don't have enough time to stand up here and tell you what they are. I would be happy to have that discussion in a booth or at a bar. Either are just fine by me. But what I will tell you is that the irony of an economy of attention is attention isn't for sale, right? You can buy eyeballs, but you have to earn attention. And earning attention takes a fundamental shift in the way that we're going to do things. So I want to talk about that, but before we talk about that, I want to talk about what we got to do first. So before we can talk about earning attention, we got to talk about paying attention, guys. This is a staggering statistic to me. This is a very, very new study that just came out from Brandwatch, 2015. They took a look at what they called the leading restaurant, food, and beverage Twitter accounts, right? These are our leaders on Twitter. I want you to take a look at something. Average brand gets 511 mentions in a day on Twitter. Those are people who are, you have their attention. They've told you, you have my attention. Please talk back to me. Look at how often we reply on average. That's 23 times. That is 5%. I don't know where y'all went to school. If I got a 5% on anything, it wasn't going on the refrigerator. 95% of people who they have expressed, I would like your attention, we leave them in silence. This is low-hanging fruit. This is greens fees. This is table stakes. This is what it takes to get on the playing field. And if this isn't something that you guys can commit to as part of your social strategy, I'm going to tell you that unfortunately the rest of my talk isn't going to do a lot of good for you. I hope you'll still listen. But this part right here, you got to get this right before any of the rest of it matters. Once you are paying attention and have that piece in place, your first opportunity to grab some attention is being bold and being different. And that sounds kind of obvious, right? Like nobody gets up in the morning and goes, I want to be the same as everybody else out there. Gosh, that'll be awesome. It's going to really drive those earnings, huh? But here's the thing. So we all know it. Here's what it looks like. You guys familiar with the term banner blindness? So banner blindness is something your brain does for you, that as you look at, say, a page on the internet, right? Your brain's good at making sure that it hones you in on the stuff that's important and helps you block out the stuff that it knows isn't important, right? And that happens over time. So, just case in point, a quick show of hands. Who's spent some time on the internet since you've been here? That's an easy one, right? Hey, well, keep them up for me, sorry. Won't be too long. Second question is, who can remember the last banner ad they saw? Okay, fair enough. So usually there's even, so we had one hand up for a minute, right? So check it out. You guys, your eyeballs were bought. People paid for your eyes on those. Didn't get your attention at all. That's banner blindness. You didn't even see them. What we're in danger of in this industry right now is brand blindness. If you take a look at this, if I took logos off of here, and in some cases we did, I don't know whose experience I'm looking at. I don't know whose restaurant I'm looking at. I don't know whose food I'm looking at. I don't know what this is asking me to do other than to be hungry for blank generic food. Everybody looks like this. That's not going to get anybody's attention. That's not being bold. That's not being different. I'd like to show you bold and different. If it's too small, it reads high stakes in the back. If you don't, there is. We're going to let that one hit for a second. All right. That's a pot joke. So here's the deal. If you don't follow Denny's Tumblr, please do it. Do yourself a favor and do that right now, or wait till I'm done talking. Denny's Tumblr is filled with content like this, and it's subtle, it's brilliant. There is a Grateful Bread poster in the background of this. Like, there's just these little touches of detail that's brilliant. You know what's not in here anywhere? Denny's logo. Because their community knows that Denny's is the only restaurant brand on Tumblr right now that's playing like this. They don't have to say it's Denny's. People know. Their community knows. They love it. You guys would freak out if you read the way that Denny's Tumblr communicates to their guests. It's unreal. You have to Urban Dictionary 90% of the things that are in there, and 50% of them you feel terribly that you Urban Dictionaried because now you know and you can never not know again. But here's the thing, the community loves that, and you have to be willing to be bold and different to cut through the noise like this. Next spot we have some opportunity is the chance to be where your audience is and your competitors aren't. There is a ripe landscape for that right now. Hasn't always been this way. And I don't know when it will be the next time. But the first place I'd like to talk about as the area that's ripe for opportunity here, ready for this, is Snapchat. Okay, so you can think whatever you want about Snapchat, right? Like, you can think it's frat boy, you can think it's a sexting service, you can think it was inspired by the final scene of The Hangover where they all looked at the pictures and said, we're going to look at these one time and delete them forever. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. But Snapchat is a powerhouse. You know how I know it's a powerhouse? Let's start with the fact that it's valued at $16 billion right now, okay? You can call that a runaway valuation if you want, probably is. But if they're worth half of that, if they're worth a quarter of that, they're probably worth our attention. Let me tell you some other reasons they're worth our attention. Anybody not targeting the millennials? That's sound strategy, by the way. So 13 to 34, 60% of smartphone users ages 13 to 34 are active users on this service. 60%. Serving 2 billion videos a day. That's half of what Facebook serves. Snapchat is less than a tenth of the size of Facebook, and they're serving half the volume of videos. You think that's not an opportunity to get attention? You ever try to talk to your kids when they're on Snapchat? Doesn't work out real well, right? God, stop! It's gonna be gone in 7 seconds. Snapchat gets your attention in a different way because I know that as soon as I touch this screen, I have 5 seconds, 7 seconds, 10 seconds to see what it is. So these other impressions from other platforms where I know in the back of my head, hey, if I want to go back and look at that again, I will. And maybe I will, and maybe I won't. But Snapchat, they're gone, has my attention, undoubtedly. But a lot of what we've been talking about here has really been about the push, right? What are we going to do? What are we going to create? What is our company going to do to garner more attention? The only challenge with that from a scalability standpoint is as fragmentation continues and continues, you're not going to be able to keep up. You can't be the ones creating all the content, making all the stories. It's not gonna happen. It will be incredibly expensive. You'll frustrate yourselves to death. This is the strategic shift I'm talking about. And so what we have to do is we have to move from thinking that these things are also platform important to what Amanda's been telling you for years, which is people are the medium in these areas. It's about the people, and it's about making them part of your story. It's about asking them what their stories are and folding that into what you have going on. And one of the most interesting ways I see us try and do this, right? We try and make viral videos. Anybody had any luck with a viral video as a brand lately? It's tough, because what does the Fox say didn't have to go through 18 rounds of creative review, 2 legal approvals? You know, as brands, we are not set up to go viral, guys. But I'll tell you what, we also don't need to solve the mystery of what goes viral. It's been solved for us. Look at your Facebook feeds, look at your Twitter feeds, look at what you see on YouTube. It has been solved for us. It's not a mystery. What goes viral is not a mystery, and I'd like to show you what that is.
It's a beautiful night. We're looking for something dumb to do. Hey, baby, I think I wanna marry you. Is it the look in your eyes? Or is it this dancing juice? Who cares, baby? I think I wanna marry you.
I'm going to have you take your hearing aid out.
Okay.
Is it on?
Hi, Jonathan.
Stop the sucking.
Hi. Could you hear that? Hi, sweetie. Could you hear that? Hi.
Hi, Cooper. Hi, Cooper.
Hi, Cooper.
I think we have a copy of the note, but it says, thanks to the government shutdown, people like you that protect this country are not getting paid. However, I still am. Lunch is on me. Thank you for serving, ladies. Have a good day. That's what you left. I'm going to make you a check right now. I'm sorry, I just got my purse out because I forgot. When you were here last time, I needed to give you something. Jeannie, will you give it to her? I forgot, I gave it to Jeannie.
Oh, yeah, sure. Here we go.
Oh, hi! This is from Ellen.
Those are keys to your brand new car. It's a 2000. Hear that?
What goes viral is not a mystery. We could have done 10 minutes of this, of soldier homecomings, of surprise proposals. That goes on and on. What goes viral is not a mystery. Love goes viral. Change goes viral. Purpose goes viral. Passion goes viral. Get this, that waitress was a Ruby Tuesdays employee. These are your employees. They're your guests, they're your family, they're in your neighborhoods, they're around you. You can't tell me that you couldn't look within your organizations and find a way to be a part of those kinds of stories. And when you're a part of those kinds of stories, you will be a part of making love go viral. You will make change go viral. You will make passion go viral. And you will have more attention than you know what to do with. So thank you for your attention. I sure hope I earned it.